Okay, today we are going to construct the circumcenter of a triangle. If you remember yesterday, we constructed the midpoint of a triangle, and what allowed us to find the midpoint was the perpendicular bisector. And if you remember from our vocabulary, the midpoint is the best point when you have two people trying to get somewhere. Well, when we have a triangle, we have three people trying to get to the best location. So we're going to use the perpendicular bisector construction to help us find the circumcenter of a triangle, which is the best location for three people or three vertices to meet, or equidistant from all three vertices. So let's get started. It says we start with triangle ABC. We have triangle ABC, so I'm just going to leave it there and allow you to see the steps that go. Next, we're going to find the perpendicular bisector of one of the triangle sides. Any one will do. So I'm going to select side AC, and I'm going to find the perpendicular bisector. Remember, we put the edge over, we slide our slider, move our slider beyond halfway, and we make an arc. Then we rotate our paper, and we put our edge of our compass over point C, and we make another arc. Those two arcs make a football. Then we take our football and we draw a line, our perpendicular bisector, through the 2 points where the football intersect. Those 2 points there, we actually have our midpoint, but we're not looking for the midpoint right here in our perpendicular bisector. The next step says to repeat for another side. Any one will do. So what I want you to do is I want you to draw the second perpendicular bisector right here, the same one, using the same size. Don't change your size for the second one. And we're going to do our arc through C. And the only way you get good at these is by practicing. So again, my footballs look almost exact. And they should, because we haven't changed anything. Perpendicular bisector, there would be our midpoint if we were looking for it. But it says repeat for another side. Anyone will do. So I'm going to rotate my triangle. I'm going to make sure that you guys can see it. And I'm going to change colors, because these tend to get really confusing. So I'm going to use a pen this time, because I'm pretty confident. I'm going to rotate or change my slider so that it's just over halfway, and I'm going to make another arc. There's my first arc. Then I'm going to move my paper, and I'm going to find point B, and I'm going to make my second arc. Luckily, my arcs intersect here and here. If they didn't intersect, I would have to go back to the original point and add to the arc. And now what I want to do is I want to highlight, I didn't make my perpendicular bisector yet. So find the point where they intersect, find the point where it intersects, and draw my straight line. There's my line. There's my perpendicular bisector. So we have a lot of lines going on, a lot of arcs. It's getting a little bit confusing. I'm going to highlight my perpendicular bisector that I just did, and I'm going to highlight the first perpendicular bisector. The reason why I'm highlighting the two perpendicular bisectors is because the circumference, the circumcenter is the point where the two perpendicular bisectors intersect. And this is the best point for all three locations. A is the same distance away from the circumcenter as B is the same distance, as C is the same distance. And the word that we're looking for there is they are equidistant. Okay? So that is how you construct a circumcenter. You start with the triangle, 3 different points. You pick one side, make the perpendicular bisector. pick another side, make a second perpendicular bisector, and the point where those two lines intersect is your circumcenter. The reason why we don't have to find the perpendicular bisector of the third side is because it would also go through this point, okay? And I'm going to write circumcenter, and I'm going to draw a line to it. I'm going to come down here on your paper. Drop the protractor, sorry. I'm going to come down here on your paper, and I am going to do one more. I'm going to do the bottom right. I'm going to do the right triangle. And I'm going to name my right triangle AMP. And I'm going to make my dots. Make sure you make your dots. Very, very important. It'll make it really easy to help, easy to see. So I'm going to find the perpendicular bisector of AM. I got to go extend my slider over halfway, make my arc. I'm going to come over and rotate my paper, put my center of my compass on M, make my arc. Oops, look what happened. When I did the first arc on A, I didn't go far enough. So I have to come back to A, match it up. There you go. And now I'm going to make my perpendicular bisector. One through there, one through there. And now I am going to change pencils, go back to my pencil, and I'm going to find the perpendicular bisector of PM. PM, boom, make sure that the slider is over halfway. Slider's halfway, make my first arc, rotate my paper this way so I can make my second arc. Okay, and then draw my perpendicular bisector here. There you go.
Sebastian Ferrero, please come to the front office. Sebastian Ferrero, please come to the front office.
Excuse me for that. And now I'm going to highlight my perpendicular bisectors. The second one I did, sorry. The first one I did. And then figure out where those two line segments intersect. And those two line segments intersect, right there. So that's where my circumcenter is on a right triangle. This circumcenter is the same distance from M, it's the same distance from P, and it's the same distance from A. And that's how it's a circumcenter, because it is the best location for all three people to meet. I hope this helps. You have 5 more to go. Take care.